YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Gozyuger episode 17. I believe it's 17? The debut of our 6th Ranger, Gozyu Polar, and I think one of the series' better episodes. I have some mixed feelings on the end of it, but overall I really enjoyed myself, and the lead into this, especially at the beginning, is meant to mirror the pilot, and Horu was there with not Taya at the beginning. So well done that I thought I put on the wrong episode at first. But it's meant to mirror the beginning where you actually have Gozyu Polar saving the day with the burglar and all that. He even does like a "you want to go home and rethink your life" moment to the burglar. Even the moment later when Tegasword comes out and he's sitting on the steps with Horu evoked a mirror to him and Taya on those same steps in the first episode. And I thought that was really well done because it plays into this whole idea of Gozyu Polar as the main character now. Even the opening is changed to reflect him being that. In fact, I thought they replaced Wolf, but it's not like that. They actually have him just in the forefront as the lead, which people are like, it's a Power Rangers reference. I don't think it's a reference. Not everything is a reference, for the love of God. Anyway, I thought that was really neat. First thing I thought of actually wasn't, it's a reference. I thought, this reminds me of the episode of Buffy where Jonathan took over everything and was the main character. Classic Jonathan. Love that guy. I thought that was really neat. And you do have that classic, very like alternate wish world type of thing. You know, very funny if you watch Doctor Who, that this kind of alternate reality thing where everyone has a different identity reminded me very much of the Doctor Who finale recently. Also reminded me of Once Upon a Time Curse where people have a different identity. I thought it was a bit rushed at the end. I didn't expect us to spend like a whole arc in this alternate reality, but I was a little disappointed that at the very end everyone's like, we got our memories back now, everything's fine. Because I thought it would have been fun to explore this for maybe a little bit longer, or maybe get them back next week, especially since just having Gozyu Wolf and of course Polar as the focus evoked the first episode, where the other cast wasn't in it really at all until the very end. So I was a little disappointed because I thought the setup of this brought up something for maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and it was just kind of, you know, rushed. Like, in general, it was kind of surprising to have this feel rushed. Like, Gozyuger has a fast and zany pace, but they really did take their time introducing everybody, so it felt weird that I feel this all felt a little bit rushed in a way. Like, it felt rushed to me that you have the mecha debut, although, at the same time, the whole reason that this Ranger is debuting is because of this mecha, so it makes sense. But I don't know, just establishing all this very quickly and having this whole thing of like, we're in a curse world, now we're fine, felt kind of rushed, and I was a little disappointed because I thought there was potential there for at least one more episode. But I do really like everything going on with Gozyu Polar. And this whole thing clarified to me his character. Like, I was a little bit confused based on the description because they're like, the mech is the god of destruction, but he's a previous winner. I'm like, wait, how does that work? Did a god of destruction like win before? But I guess what happened is when they tried to do the ritual, it created this prince of destruction because they didn't have enough rings. Like, are they stupid? Did they not know that was going to happen? I'm a little curious why they decided to do that, if they thought there was a chance. The whole thing reminded me of Geo when you have Grand Geo not being Oma Geo because they're using the future drive watch, which is a cheat because they didn't get it in chronological order. Like, they basically just didn't have the right ingredients. It is an interesting story, though. I think it opens up an interesting dynamic for Goodburn, where like maybe he'll be tempted in the future to fulfill his destiny as an evil character, a god of destruction, and be pulled back by his bond with Polar. So I don't know if they're going to do anything like that, but I think that's interesting. But it does just call into question, like, why did the villains jump the gun? They're like, we planned all this time, and they're like, oh, let's just try to do the ritual now. Who cares if we only have 5 Dragon Balls? But then Polar being one of the original winners, of course, we already knew, but I was curious, like, okay, was he always Polar? Was there different Gozyugers? No, he was the OG Gozyu Wolf, which I think is a cool development, and now he's using these powers because I guess he was the one that was in the Tegasword when they were in the original Robot War, which was a cool twist, and he was the one that wished everything was saved. That's interesting. I really like that a lot, and it sets him up as kind of a good guy character seemingly, but with some interesting motivations. Now he says his motivation is to surpass Tegasword, which is a very Toku anime feeling thing, but there seems to be more to it. It seemed like there's a little bit of like he doesn't want this to be undone by what's going on with the God of Destruction, which is why he's using it. But him being a previous winner is really cool. I think it would be really neat if we could meet the previous Gozyugers. Maybe they'll even be Warrior Reds we meet. Maybe we even get another Gozyuger. Who knows? But I think that's really interesting for the mythology and really interesting potential character dynamics. Even with him calling them, especially Wolf, like next gen or whatever, or second gen, and him kind of being placed as the possible leader, at least for now. I don't think he's going to take over the leader spot full time, you know, in terms of the series overall from Gozyu Wolf. I think Gozyu Wolf will take that back eventually. I don't know, but I do think it's an interesting way to go about a 6 Ranger dynamic, and I like the way the mythology could play out for his character being an original winner and the robot having this god of destruction destiny, so I really liked that a lot. And it was a good debut. You know, the suit is top tier. Seeing in action was even better. I like that seemingly his like cape power-up they talked about in the scans is just a cape he wears to take off like Anakin Skywalker before he duels Count Dooku. Not this time, Dooku. I mean, that was Obi-Wan, but... And the voice for the changer is kind of the same one for the main one, which is fine, but I do like the way that it just kind of works and the way he uses it as a knuckle. It just comes across like this boxing glove thing. The mecha looks great in practice. I really, really like that a lot. So it had a really strong debut visually for sure. It just felt all very quick that we're all into this, but I'm really excited to see where the show goes from here because I think him being there opens up a lot of interesting avenues. I'm really curious to find out more about the Sentai War, to see how this all unfolds, if we're going to meet any of the original Gozyuger team, if we're going to possibly have any more Rangers in this series, who knows? But yeah, I really did enjoy this. My only nitpick being things felt a little bit rushed, especially near the end. I just wish they would have held off on the rest of the team uniting until the end. I think they were implying that there was something to the fact that his brother took off the ring, which kept it intact, which is why he was able to recover his memories first. I don't know if that's meant to be implying anything for redemption, but that was at least interesting. But yeah, very much enjoying it, and I was able to secure my pre-order for Gozyu Polar stuff, which I think comes out next week. I'm not going to be able to get the first review. That's going to be probably the Japanese reviewers that show off the sound. Is the guy still around that wears the gloves creepily? Still just, why are you doing that? But anyway, but I'll try to get them out in a semi-timely manner when I get them. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode and the debut of Gozyu Polar. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.